Greetings, friends! Today, I want to talk about the endgame in Path of Exile, which the Atlas, Towers, Citadels, and also a bit about the Arbiter of Ash. So let's get started. As you probably already noticed, when clicking the map device, you will enter this Atlas layout, and here we have a couple of things like these dots. What do they mean? If it's blue, that means it's an available map to complete or a failed map. Green dots means you have already completed this map and you will not be allowed to enter it again. And gray dot mean you have not reached this destination yet. You will have to path to them using the blue dots. We also have those towers that influence the nearby maps depending on which tablets you are using. They can also influence maps with generic mods like percent pack size or rarity of items, but they can also influence maps with mechanics like delirium, let's say breach, expedition, or ritual. So it's really up to your preference which one to use, but I highly recommend using all of them because extra amount of loot on your map is always worth it. Most importantly, when browsing the atlas, you have to pay attention to the topography, because all of the citadels, for example this one, the Copper Citadel, have different terrains around them. As you can see here, this is why I highly suggest not circling around and doing every map, but instead going as further as you can, exploring as much as possible so you can notice any type of terrain change. For example, this one has like these tents around it and like a desert kind of terrain. And when you see stuff like this close, you will path to it and of course do the encounter. As you can see here, this is Iron Citadel and it has like these fields with some hay houses, and also this one here that has like some pyramids and also these farmlands. But notice how it is very different from what we usually see on the Atlas, and pretty obvious in some cases. I highly recommend doing all the boss encounters that you see on at least a tier 14 map. This way you can guarantee tier 15 drops and sustain maps without having to invest passive points into +1 level of waystone drops or quantity. Just make sure the mods aren't too crazy or you will die. By the way, this is my atlas and how I've invested my passive points. I'm yet to finish this one. I'm missing around 6 points here, but it is a little bit harder to get these points, because in order to get these points you will need to kill bosses on these types of encounters, deadly encounters. As such, let me find one here. For example, there's one, here is another one, here is one, and what you have to do is try and stack these icons +1 level of area level. Also this one, the red one, it does give you another +1. So for example, in this situation here we have +1 +1, and that makes our map have 2 tiers higher. If it also had a deadly boss, I will put here a tier 16. That is a tier 15 map that has been vaulted, could upgrade 1 tier further, and killing the boss will reward you with passive points for you to allocate in the tree. By paying attention to the terrain, you can also find special events like the Nameless Seer Caravan, which is a map that has a unique item vendor, allowing you to purchase one with gold, or let's say finding unique maps like Untainted Paradise, that's usually on an island. I tried finding one, but I wasn't so lucky. And all of them have little assets or extra terrain, or a little bit like a extra house, a campfire, something that might catch your attention. And they are very rewarding to do because they are like the events of the end game, if that makes sense. In my experience, I found that doing citadels with more players is more rewarding, because in rare cases you can double the amount of fragments that you get, However, this also makes the bosses a little bit harder by increasing their difficulty. So be careful, it might be worth it for you, especially to do the map solo to guarantee completing it. Speaking of dying, I do believe it is quite punishing to only have a single try per boss. I mean, in Path of Exile 1, we had like 6 portals to try and challenge the boss. And here in Path of Exile 2, we have only one shot and one opportunity, and a lot can go wrong. It's especially punishing for Citadels and even more for the Arbiter of Ash, because you could disconnect, you could encounter a bug, or you might be unlucky and one of those mechanics, a bleed, will pretty much shut down your momentum and kill you. And without having another way at it, you feel disappointed. And I don't think it is fair to have in some cases mechanics that are not even feasible to complete, one-shotting you and losing 200 exiles worth of fragments like it happened here in this Arbiter of Ash, or maps that you've reached after 100 waypoints. I just don't find it that fun, and it does make me not want to attempt them, but sell them instead, which is a shame because I do want to do them for the thrill. But this has been it for this quick video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, hope to see you soon, Exile.